Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Initiative Order, and welcome to the first session of Agents of Dune. I'm absolutely beyond stoked to finally be running this, and I have a killer party with me today. But real quick, before we start this module out, let me go ahead and run through our sponsors so we can get the spiel out of the way, and then we'll do player introductions. So first up on the sponsor list for the Initiative Order is Session Zero Closing. They have the D&D inspired streetwear. Use code ORDER at checkout for 15% off there. We have Norse Foundry. They are artists and dice makers. I am already forming a Christmas list. If anybody's interested, they can certainly shop there for me. And you can use code TIO15 at checkout for 15% off. Mithril Armory, they're the creators of the insane, 10, 20 foldable dice puzzles that whoop my happy ass, but maybe they'll do better for you. You can use code initiative in their shop for 10% off. I myself also am a sponsor. That is Umbral Oculus Dice, UO_dice on the Instagram, hand poured resin dice. You can use code initiative in my shop for 10% off of full sets. And I am officially back in shop after moving, so there will be new Wicked sets available soon. And of course, here at the Initiative Order, we are also proud ambassadors for Jasper's Game Day. And also, as always, we appreciate all bits, subs, etc. that you give us here at the Initiative Order, as we use those to promote good causes and run charity events, etc. And also, happy Father's Day to everybody out there in the webverse. And because I can, happy fucking Pride this month, everyone. So let's start setting the stage, and we will go ahead and start with our player introductions. Let's start off with Tracie.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tracie. I also go by Miss Magitech on the internet. I play a lot of tabletop games, mostly D&D on my channel, which is actually twitch.tv/MagiRPG. So if you see somebody in chat named MagiRPG, that's me. But I am playing Shizu, and she is... Well, she's the eldest child of the house, so she has a lot of responsibility, and there is a lot of pressure on her. She's an heir and a duelist, and so she's kind of got like a martial background, but also she's kind of more like a leadership kind of background as well, because she's kind of ready to take on the next role and responsibility. So I'm very excited to be playing Shizu, and yeah, that's a little bit about her and about me.
Alrighty, let's go on over to Nate.
Hello there, my name is Nate Bushman. I'm a portrait photographer, occasional GM. You may find I did a one-shot a couple months ago on the Initiative Order, Vampire the Masquerade. You can also find me running community games on our lovely Discord, which you should totally join, because it's awesome. Today, I'll be playing Zafir Kallas, the sword master of the house. Like to see him as possibly like the father or maybe the cool uncle who just wants to teach the kids how to use swords, because why not? That seems like a fun thing to do out in space. Yeah.
I mean, I can dig it. Everyone needs the cool uncle to hand you the sharp knife.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Jess.
Hello, my name is Jess. I am playing Natalia today. You can find me around the internet at j.rancor on Instagram and at Goblin Queen with 3 E's on pretty much everything else. I don't currently stream or do anything really. I kind of sprinkle my way through the Initiative Order here whenever I get asked to come on over here with, especially creepy Morkborg stuff is my favorite. Natalia is the mentat of House Nagara, and she is a very loyal person who has, trained to have this crazy computer-like mind. And I'm very excited to explore that today.
Yeah. All right, and last but certainly not least, Miguel.
Hey everybody, I'm Miguel. You can find me around the internet at Miguel_Classico, Twitter, Instagram, those kind of things. It's really just dog pics and burritos I like. This evening and beyond, I'll be playing Jiro, who is the younger sibling of the house. Jiro is something, of an aloof younger brother. He's good at he's quite the socialite, likes to schmooze, spread rumors and gossip here and there. But secretly, he really just wants to do what's best for his family and his house. You won't catch him saying it though.
Oh my god, heart. Well, and I am Taryn Hackett, also known as Valrook across the socials. I am a generally creative human, TTRPG player and GM, Eldritch entity, and dice maker. You can catch me on the initiative order on occasion. It's coming up as well. And then you can catch me over at the Red Hair Inn every other Tuesday for the Ecriom expeditions, where I play a little Simonin role. But also over at the Red Hair Inn, starting next month, I will be streaming a D&D horror miniseries over there with an absolutely killer cast, including Daniel from Dragon Rock, Shelby Wish Warlock. I've got the Lizzie LD coming back onto stream, and of course the one and only Stiletto Assassin April Hill. So I've got a really great crew, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's start setting the stage for today's session. So, in the feudal Imperium of the Dune universe, power and rulership rests in the hands of titled noble houses who rule under the emperor of the known universe. Some of these noble houses can trace their lineage back thousands of years. The most powerful of these houses rule a planet, or even more than one. Now, these characters obviously belong to one such noble house, House Nagara. Each house in the Imperium, most of the major ones, are usually known as a leader of something, some kind of export, some kind of skill in particular. It could be a technology, school of training, or even philosophy. In the case of House Negara, they have a very powerful piece of technology that they have created, known as the Nightshade. This is a new form of oil lens that allows the user to see in even the pitch darkness. They can perceive even the most minute facial expressions. So they tend to lean a little bit in the espionage field. So you're all resting at some point, but this letter makes its way into each of your hands, as rumors have probably been swirling for a minute, but it's official. You receive a letter from the leader of House Nagara. My dearest children, by now you will have heard the news that our house has been chosen by the Emperor to take over all spice production operations on Arrakis, called Dune by the natives there. As you know, spice is perhaps the most important substance in the universe. So this new fiefdom is a tremendous honor and responsibility for our family. I have been quite busy on Arrakis, surveying our new holdings and doing my part to ensure a smooth and painless transition from House Harkonnen, who previously held this responsibility. The Harkonnens have been rewarded by the Emperor for their service and reaped many rewards from their tenure. They are being more than adequately compensated for their service, and much of this new favor relies on executing a smooth transition of governorship. This makes us mutual allies for the moment. Even though the Harkonnen reputation is an unpleasant one, I can only hope we can profit as well as they have. Managed properly, the potential rewards on Arrakis are almost limitless. I have also decided you are all old enough now to take your rightful place in our house and lead our new venture on Arrakis. To this end, I am sending you and your retainers for a sabbatical on Gedi Prime, the homeworld of House Harkonnen. Our Harkonnen allies have offered to train you for the trials ahead and offer the benefit of their experience on Dune. Stay sharp, observe well, and learn from them. I am sorry that I cannot say farewell properly, but this is too much to prepare, and you are no longer children that need to hide behind my skirts. Know that I love you and trust you to do your best for our house. We will all see each other again soon when you have completed your training. I have enclosed everything you might need for the journey ahead with this letter. Study this information well. On Arrakis, there will be no second chances. Be vigilant, be careful. You are the heirs to our noble house, and in your hands lies the well-being of all of us. your loving mother, Sakura, Countess Nagara. And with that, all right. So, days go by. You've traveled through space, but you do eventually arrive on Gady Prime. A much smoggier planet than your homeworld, which is beautiful, clear air, farms. And you guys arrive, and it's an immediate shock to all of you. In this moment, as you are beginning to land and you are peering out into the planet around you, you can see the dark clothing. You can begin to see someone coming to meet you on the landing pad. You have this moment to yourselves. It's quiet enough now. You can actually hear one another. But you have this moment to convey how you're all feeling to each other.
I feel like Shizu feels pretty confident. She has been trained in martial arts, so she feels like she's ready for what's about to happen. She looks to her brother Jiro and says, "Keep your wits about you, brother."
Well, sister, wits have never been my issue.
You're right. I mean, forget it. I mean, just keep yourself up straight and make sure that you're ready for what we're about to experience.
Natalia walks behind, like in the middle of the two of them, and says, "There's 100% chance that both of you are quite ready for this adventure."
Well, if you say so, then can't be wrong.
Well, who can doubt with those odds? Thank you, Natalia.
Of course.
Zafir is still in the ship, getting a lot of equipment ready, and has a hand already on the handle of his sword as a safety measure, because this planet just gives off the complete opposite of what I was probably expecting.
Yeah, I would say as you are looking out and you're seeing, you've obviously, it's not a secret. You've all heard the rumors. You've all heard the stories that Harkonnen is known to be harsh, very forward. But the Countess trusts them, at least for now. And they have, oddly enough, willingly offered their home planet to train you. And you may, for many reasons, you may be suspicious of it, or you may even think that maybe they're just that serious about the job that they've done. As you begin to exit the ship and make your way to the landing pad, it also maybe hits you that they don't want you to mess up what they've spent years cultivating. And as you come face to face with some of the first Harkonnen members to meet you, you can see that they're very serious. So, first and foremost, you are greeted kind of abruptly. It's not rude, it's kind of brash, but it's very just to the point of like, welcome, great, this way, here's your quarters, like just taking you straight to, and as they leave you in the quarters to unload everything, Zafir, they help you carry what you're carrying and get you all to your quarters. You have like this little kind of like reception area between your rooms that are all conjoined. You are informed kind of briefly that there will be a banquet for you shortly, where you will be meeting your instructors. So take your time, unpack, come back together into this waiting room where there is a very slender, pale man standing, shaved bald, dark clothing, clearly some form of servant, like servant level in House Harkonnen, not making eye contact with you, but is waiting clearly to escort you to your banquet when you're all ready.
Natalia is very promptly the first one, probably unpacked, ready, standing there with the pale man.
I'm in like full military regalia, sword at the ready, but I'm waiting for Shizu and Jiro to get ready, as I will follow closely behind them.
Jiro, I'm assuming, brought attendants, like retainers, to help him get dressed.
Yeah.
Lots of clothing, like lots of trunks of different, a full veil. Like Jiro's no fool. He knows all about the smog on this planet. So he's brought plenty of veils and gloves and things. That's not great for his complexion, but he's just really lazily picking between two that are like indistinguishably, like they're like the same shade of black, but only he can really tell the difference. He's gonna show me this one again, and he'll finally pick, and he'll be like the last one out.
Yeah, Shizu wouldn't take very long either. So probably Jiro would be the last one to meet the rest of us. She only has a couple of bags that she took with her, and she'll take out some of her stuff. She'll only like half unpack and keep like things like her weapons and stuff still packed in the bag. And then she'll meet with everybody as we wait for my brother to arrive.
So you probably wait a good 10 minutes after all of you have finally come together. You can still hear scuffling coming from Jiro's room. There's some definite command going on, whereas the person, the servant person is standing patiently, refusing to, like, will not make eye contact with you, is just standing as awkward as it could be. Natalia probably doesn't even notice, is just perfectly fine with it. Zafir and Shizu, you definitely are kind of, you're picking up on that it's not a rude thing. They're just not a social person, nor are they a social people. And finally, Jiro, you make your way out. Everyone is just staring at you, waiting.
I'm gonna walk in. I have a retainer that's like holding a cheese board, like at my side, that I'm like kind of every few steps just pick one and get them, like, oh, please circulate, I say to them, and then they start offering everyone cheese, including the unspeaking attendant.
They just look down at it and kind of look back up at you and motion towards the door.
You don't have cows here?
You are led down a series of long hallways. Again, even inside, you can still kind of smell that oily, smoggy air. But you eventually make your way through into this large kind of square room. It has like a skylight overhead of sorts, but it's not bright outside. So it's really just this dim gray light coming inside. And there are some like wall sconces around, but it's just not a super brightly lit room. Everyone, there's maybe a handful of people there. It's not a massive reception by any means. You can tell it's much more of a courtesy to make sure that you're welcomed, fed well, and get settled in quickly. You come in and immediately one particular person catches all of your attention only because they will not stop glaring. They too are solid military regalia, pale skin, a little bit of a tuft of like whitish hair on the top of their head, sitting back next to a shorter, kind of more round, darker skinned individual who definitely notices and looks up, but kind of continues whatever conversation they were having. Whereas the man with the white hair kind of just stays staring, and it looks like he's sizing you up.
In my vast knowledge of knowledge, would I know who these people are?
Natalia, I would say that you probably are the only one that would have read any of that. Maybe you and Zafir might have been the only ones who remember enough from it and read it in such great detail. I'm sure Shizu, actually, if you want to do me a favor, just go ahead and just roll 2d20 just randomly. Okay. I just want to see. This is going to decide all of your fate forever.
Oh, God. Well, I rolled a 17 and a 4.
Okay. I would say you also, like, Shizu, as you're looking at them, you have like a vague recollection of maybe reading something, but it's kind of, it's like it's the name is on the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite get there. Now, Natalia and Zafir, you recognize those being the people that are intended to train your group prior to going to Arrakis. You know that this is Turo Imshel and Niran Rani. Niran is the white-haired gentleman that is glaring. He is more of your combative training. But you two definitely pick up on this. Jiro is too distracted by both the cheese boards and the veil and has zero care for that regardless. But you are there is a massive table kind of off center. And they're like, it seems like they have a variety of foods. Most of it looks kind of strange to you as you're certain it's native to this planet, but it seems like they've kind of gone a little bit beyond to make sure that you have some options, and the room is yours briefly.
I step forward before I sit at the table, and I just sort of do a very polite, middle waist bow and just, hello, I'm Natalia Khan, the Mentat to House Nagara. It's lovely to meet you.
And Niran just kind of nods at you, Mentat.
Yes. And with that, I can certainly tell you, with this lovely array of food, I will say it may give me a 30% chance of a tummy ache.
You have weak constitution?
Well, it is foreign food, of course. I cannot wait to try it.
You're going to have to get over that. You're going to have a gut like iron.
Statistically, that would be impossible to have a gut of iron. That would make one very, very sick inside. But I will take it into high consideration.
And it looks like Niran's going to say something before Turo kind of raises his hand and kind of waves him down. It's a pleasure to meet you. Make sure that you eat well. Training starts tomorrow, and I can promise you it's going to be quite strenuous. But we are more than happy to have you here, and it is a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. And she sits and begins to serve herself.
And nice to meet you all as well. I am Shizu Nagara, the oldest of the house. I am looking forward to our training tomorrow, and of course, thank you for this nice banquet. And she kind of just like awkwardly sits down after that.
Niran watches you, and you can see him lean over to Turo, and they say something, and like Niran is nodding as they kind of return back.
She just kind of eyes that and makes a note of it, but doesn't say anything and sits down.
Jiro veil comes off, I suppose, hand it to the retainer. It's ready for it. Jiro, House Nagara, you're charmed, I'm sure. Did I miss the cocktail hour? Shall I do a lap, really? Just hit everyone, we'll get a little gossip in, or are we straight to dinner? Straight to dinner, I see. And then just sits down. Just takes the grim faces of like, yep. And then
Turo like looks down and smirks a little bit while Niran glares as you make your way to sit.
I approach last, and in the process of approaching, I'm sizing both of them up to get a better idea of just probably physically what they look like, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Turo seems to be a bit shorter, a little more round, clearly like fairly healthy, takes care of themselves. Shaved bald, darker skin, whereas Niran looks athletic, lean, somewhat aged, and has the very, like, if you're thinking of a Harkonnen, that pale, shadowed eyes, but does have like a tuft of white hair. Their body language speaks volumes. Turo seems to be very calm, cool, kind of more of a go with the flow, whereas Niran seems sharp, quick to anger, just very to the point is the best way to sum it up.
As I approach, I just give a very sort of militaristic like salute and bow and just say, Zafir Kallas, sword master of the house, looking forward to training. And I bow again in front of them and take my seat.
Niran smirks and like nods as you go to sit down. So, you guys help yourselves to dinner. Have your time. The body language stays consistent. A couple people come make their way to do introductions. Nobody major at this point, but you feel a little more concerned. That people don't seem hostile towards you, except for Niran, who just seems generally grouchy, and even Turo seems to be kind of off put by him at times. But you have a filling meal, and you're eventually taken back to your quarters. Restful evening. And you wake up early. Head straight into training. And let the simulation begin. The dark, smoky reds and grays of the planet Gady Prime atmosphere look like a rolling storm of ash and blood, looming large and omnipresent below you and through the viewports of your shuttle. The shuttle lights begin to flash red again, and for a moment, all is stillness. Before the world around you jerks and quakes from simulated damage. Even though you know this is just a drill, that blare of the alarm and the sudden lurch of your ship feels all too real to all of you. You begin to focus on the task ahead, remembering your mentor's instructions. Your shuttle is under attack. Your crew is in danger. Whoever is attacking, they know who you are and they know what your lives are worth. Your only chance to survive is to find what is wrong with the ship, fix it, and if you can't fix it, you must evacuate. Along the way, you may find crewmates who might be able to be saved or enemies to be confronted. take them as you encounter them. Some you can interact with, while others maybe not so much. Save who you can, but keep your goal in mind. The ship must be fixed before it is destroyed, but above all else, you are House Nagara. And your line must survive, even if you are the only ones on the shuttle to do so. The exercise ends one of three ways: fix it, fail, or successfully evacuate. So you are on the bridge, which is where you usually find yourself when you travel anyways. Your family prides itself on competence, so you know that there are several control panels here when accessed, which can help you figure out what the problem is. However, most of the system will probably need to be repaired in the engineering section of the ship, so you might have to go there first. What do? Are you going to try to find the problem on the bridge, or are you going to make your way to engineering? If it all sounds too difficult, of course, you can just escape on the escape pods.
Ooh.
I turn to the group, who very obviously is a little bit more well-versed in actual combat than I am. And I look at them and I say, whatever you wish. Engineering makes sense to me, of course, but I know if there were any altercations or we ran into any unsavory humans, that would be on your shoulders.
And you do, like I said, you are also all aware. There are panels in the bridge that you can try to access. You can go to the engineering, or you can jump ship.
We could try to go to the engineering. Perhaps I can lead you, Natalia. And if there's anybody along the way, and take care of them.
That sounds like a great idea.
We could all go together, or we could split. I don't recommend. So perhaps we all go together then?
Situations such as this with bloodline on the line, stay as a group.
Yes, okay. So let's make our way to the engineering then.
Okay. So rather than trying to mess with any of the panels for the time being, you begin to make your way to engineering. With your destination in mind, you make sure that you have everything you need from the bridge and head towards the engine room. There's a periodic red flash of light that are just constant reminders as you're making your way, as the ship is jutting back and forth, rocking you. But you have to get there as quickly as you can. And so at this point, normally, obviously, when you're making your way through a ship, you don't have to roll to move. But with this ship rocking back and forth, I do need you all to make a move test. So let's see. So let's do... So you will use move and then one of your drives, whatever is driving your character to go forward in this moment. So you will use your move skill, but you will select which drive for you makes sense for your character.
I think I'm going to go with duty for this. And my statement is people are the true strength of a noble house. And I feel the fact that we're kind of working together on this and not really splitting up. And we've kind of agreed that we should keep the family together and not split up. I'm going to say that is my drive for this duty.
All right, go ahead and roll your 2d20.
Oh, I rolled 2 10s.
2 10s. So what was your total for your move and your drive?
So they're both 7. So that would be yeah.
So
okay.
You'll add your drive and your skill number together, and whatever that number is, you want to roll lower than that. So that is 2 successes. Yes. So actually, with that, that was only a success, like a one necessity. So you've actually built a momentum for your party, and we'll get into that later.
Woo.
So yay, look at you. So you're good. Let's. Yeah.
I also was choosing duty.
Mm-hmm.
I serve at the pleasure of the house, following my heirs where they want to go.
Okay.
And my total is 11, duty 6, move 5. And I rolled 112 and 115.
Okay. So in this moment, you are what is considered shaken. So the ship rocks, Natalia. You see Shizu begin to make her way forward, and she is moving with purpose and strength. And you have this moment of confidence going, but the ship juts at just the wrong moment, and you go to step and it's lowered, and you get that sick feeling in your stomach when you step off of the stair and there's nothing to meet you. While you do manage to catch and steady yourself, you are considered shaken. So the next time you do make a roll test, your difficulty for that test will actually be increased by 1 because you're not feeling so great at this moment. Jiro or Zafir?
I was also going to roll with duty, as my life is pledged to the house, and no matter what, I will defend the house, and I will make sure everyone on this ship is safe as can be. So I have a move of 6 and duty of 6, so 12. And I got a 12 on the dot and a 2.
That is that is 2 successes. Congratulations. Good job. So you do build up another momentum for your party as well. Zafir, coming up behind Natalia, you see the ship begin to jut. Almost, you're trained to watch body movements, so you see it begin to happen, and you are steadying yourself as you move forward through these hallways. Jiro?
Move of 4, and I think I'm also rolling with duty because it is important to see this thing through, and specifically make sure that my sister lives through this encounter, since she is the heir, and it is my duty to make sure that she survives this as a loyal son of House Nagara. So that's an 8, so total is 12. I'm gonna roll an 8 and a 10.
Successes. So you managed to remain pretty steady. You're pretty dedicated to this. You, at the very least, all of you want to impress those that are training you, and you want to prove to each other that you can do this. This is a little bit of a daunting task. Not only are you in the presence of House Harkonnen, but you're getting a whole planet. This is a huge, huge moment for your house. This could make or break you. As you turn the next corner, steadying your feet from yet another jarring blast, something is attacking your shuttle. Your eyes land on 2 of the shuttle's crew. One is on the ground, motionless, almost appearing dead. The other is a young man, shaggy hair, smoky scruff on his face, pounding on the window of a door. Hearing you approach, he turns to face you all. Help! Help! My friend is in here, and the door is jammed, and I can't get him out. So in this moment, if you stay to help rescue this trapped crew member, it could put your mission in jeopardy. It might be a challenging task. If you move past him, obviously you leave these people to their fates. So, what do you do?
I think we should help
Shizu.
them. I think we should help them. I think Shizu believes in us we can do this and we can still complete the mission. So let's help them and make it quick.
Okay. So with this, I will tell you ahead of time, this is a difficulty of 2. This door is incredibly, it's jammed shut. So with that, you do have as players a couple of options here. There is an option for one of you to assist whoever is to try to open this door, where you will roll 1d20 in addition to their 2. And if they roll at least 1 success, your success will add into theirs. So you see this crew member pounding on the door, and he turns to all of you. Who is coming up to help?
I'll go up.
I would like.
And Or I was gonna say, I feel like Shizu would
Those
kind
two.
of,
Yeah.
us two would
Yeah.
probably go up.
Okay. So you go up and you can see that there's like kind of smoke billowing a little bit through there. But you can see as you approach that the door is damaged. You might be able to get it open with help. This is going to be a discipline test. And you're just not exactly certain in this moment how you want to go about it. So you're standing there. You can see somebody is on the other side of the door. Doesn't look great. So what do you do?
I look to Zafir and I'm like, can you help me with this? And I try to like grab the door and start to pull it, but I feel like Shizu doesn't have the most, she's kind of more like just like get and try to do it and not really think calculatively about it.
Mhm.
So she looks to Zafir for help.
Okay.
And he looks right back at you and immediately grabs the other end of the door and just starts to try and literally pull at it to try and pry it open.
Okay. So with that, this is a discipline test. So you will use discipline and a duty or a drive of your choice. Yeah. Which one do you feel in this moment is driving Shizu? As you can see this person on the other side of the door also now realizing that there is assistance trying to bang on the door, push back.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm like, I want to say duty again, because I feel like this again is like, we're helping, we took the initiative to help these people.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's our duty to help them. So I'm going to go with that again, honestly.
Okay. Then you will roll your 2d20 and Zafir will roll as 1.
Okay. So my duty is 7, my discipline's 4. So let's see what we roll.
I rolled a 2.
I rolled a 7 and a 5.
So that is 3 successes. So you managed to work around this damaged door and pry it open, and with a shriek and a loud bang, it finally opens just enough to let the other crew member burst through the door. And just as he exits that door and like kind of lands into your arms, Shizu, flames engulf that room, almost scorching you as you're all standing there. So you manage to get this person out. They immediately come to you, make eye contact, and there's just this hearty salute from them as like tears are filling their eyes. So
I give them an immediate command to like move back to the front of the ship.
They immediately stern pick up their fallen friend and begin to make their way. So you manage to deal with this situation. Jiro, Natalia, you're watching Shizu and Zafir like absolutely go hero mode. With all of this happening, though, the ship is beginning to fall into further disrepair. But you do feel, as you continue forward towards the engineering room, there's a kind of a pep in your step. You've done something good. You saved a life. So you continue to make your way through, and suddenly the sound of struggle meets your ears as you grow closer to the engineering room. Making a turn to the final corridor, you see one of your crew in hand-to-hand battle with a man in a red uniform. One of your enemies in this simulation. So shields flash, blades ricochet off of them. You remember that in the simulation, your shuttle has been boarded, likely by an enemy of your house. With good timing, the crew member lands a final blow on the enemy, a slow cut that penetrates their personal shield, in essence, tagging them out of the simulation. The red-clad enemy falls to the ground, feigning death, and your ally leans heavily against the wall, panting heavily and obviously favoring one leg. She stares at you with fear in her eyes. I'm wounded and there are more coming. Get out of here, please. You know that your time grows shorter with every stop you make. It will be difficult but not impossible to help the injured crew member. However, this will be a much trickier test and you will need 3 successes to continue. Before you decide what to do, I will go ahead and tell you about momentum. So you've been building momentum, and with momentum, you can buy extra d20s. Obviously, the first one is 1, second one is 2, etc. So you can buy extra d20s, and of course, there is the assist option as well. However, I think you can do one or the other, which you would have to succeed on all 3 rolls in order to. So, as you see this person wounded, she's telling you, you have to get out of here. What do you do?
I think very quickly and using sort of the like movements that the ship has been doing and analyzing like that. Do I possibly have any idea of if I think that the ship is repairable, or if I've sort of come to that conclusion that we do need to leave?
Go ahead and let's roll. Let's do understand, and then whichever drive you feel like in this moment is pushing Talia forward.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do faith. Drive must be tempered with understanding. So that's 7 and 7 is 14. I rolled a 5 and a 6.
That is 2 successes. So you also, above all else, are, with the training that you've had, with everything that you're aware of, and just because this is a simulation, that the ship can be repaired. There is a win scenario in that regard, but you do know that the more time that you take away as a group to help injured or fail, that it's costing you the time, and that ultimately your final solution, if you take too long, will be only to evacuate. There is a solution to fix the ship. You just don't know if that your time is running low.
Got it. Yeah, I think as soon as this person tells us that more are coming, you need to leave, I turn to the group and I say, we have to keep moving forward. We don't have time. If we wish to actually repair the ship, we have to go forward now.
I concur.
I feel like Shizu takes a heavy sigh and nods. Let's move forward then.
So you begin to move forward past the wounded crewmate, who stands up and begins to kind of limp and drag themselves along the wall of the corridor, trying to make their way towards the escape pods. You do hear ruckus off in the distance. So you continue forward. Then the door to the engine room is right there. You have a mission to fulfill, and it would take way too much time. So this. And so you make your way forward. So when you make it to this engine room, there's kind of a sense of relief. You finally made it. You've already had a little bit of your ups and downs already. You've saved somebody and left somebody to their devices. So you make your way in, and you suddenly remember the ambience of this room. It thrummed with life and a sound that was almost a harmony in and of itself. You always thought it was reassuring as children, like a heartbeat, letting you know that the ship is healthy and well functioning. This is not the sound that greets you when you come in. There's definitely something amiss in here. There is a rasping, there's an offbeat sound where there shouldn't be, and then there is silence where there should be a low purring hum. So your mentor has really set in a challenge for you, as though to remind you that the severity of the situation is quite escalated. It's just you and multiple workstations. So you have multiple options here, and you kind of are overwhelmed almost in this moment, looking around. So you look around, there are 5 workstations important to your task. Moving from one station to another is a move skill test for each of you. So every time you try to go from one to the other, because at this point, the shuttle is rocking back and forth, sirens are blaring, it's not pleasant. Success will let you continue to the next step, but failure means that I will generate threat, which means I can escalate the situation and make it worse. Once you're at a station, you'll obviously have to figure out what's wrong, and you'll have to succeed at an understand test, again, selecting which drive you would like to use. And the difficulty will vary depending on whatever situation you're dealing with. Focuses such as advanced technology or composure obviously can help. So do look at your skills and things that you have. While each player character has a chance to try to fix each workstation at once, if 2 player characters fail at fixing the same workstation, that workstation is 2 damage to repair from that point on. So there are 5 workstations in front of you. And the ship is rocking.
Can I determine with prior knowledge which one would be the hardest?
At this point, looking around, this is where your brain becomes exceptionally aware that this is a simulation because it's all equal. You look and you can see that it's too perfect. It's a perfect storm. And Talia is all too aware.
Yeah, I quickly gaze around and I turn to the team and I say, pick one. They're all the same.
Okay, everybody grab one and we'll run over and man the first one I see.
Okay. All right. So you make your way up to, let's see which one here, because there are, here we go. Let's say which one of you wants to take on this first one?
I will.
I was gonna say, I was like, maybe Natalia.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I will.
Okay.
If it would just give you that sort of side look of like, it's all yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, pick one. And then everybody just kind of looks at me and I'm like, and I step forward.
Okay. So you walk up to the jet brake workstation and you know exactly which diagnostic test to run, which one will help you figure out what's going on. You can see that the jet brakes are pulling power from the wrong source. That would shut down 2 other systems whenever you tried to land. So that obviously doesn't work. You have to fix it. So you roll your 2d20. So it will be an understand and a drive of your choice.
Great. I'm going to choose.
This is a success of 2.
Okay. I'm going to choose my truth, which is if I do not know it, it is irrelevant.
Are you going to use any momentum or ask for assistance?
No. I do have a focus on advanced technology.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I don't know what that does, but I have it. So my total is 15. I got a 6 and a 5 again.
That is 2 successes. Talia walks up to this station and makes it look almost, it's precise. It almost looks too easy. So you immediately reallocate the power so that the jet brake works properly. And here's hoping that the rest are that easy. So who's next?
Okay. Yes.
Jiro.
Step up to one. Yeah.
Okay, so this one, you walk up. This is the jet thruster workstation. Running diagnostics on the station as you come up, and immediately you've done this before. You're pretty sure. Running diagnostics, they show you that they've been tampered with, coding and direction. So when you're going to try to use them to slow your descent later down the road, they'd have fired in the wrong direction and actually speed crashed you into the ground. Glad you caught it. All right. So this is a success of 3.
Oh, yikes.
So you're seeing this. So you're running your diagnostics and you can tell that this is difficult. So do you ask for assistance or do you buy extra dice? Now I will tell you all have 5 momentum right now. The first die is 1 momentum. The second die, if you chose to roll 4, would be 2. So you could spend 3 momentum and roll 4 dice if you so chose. Or you could try and attempt to roll one extra die and hope that you succeed on all three.
I'm gonna try to spend one momentum here.
Okay.
So my understanding.
I would like to assist.
Make sure. That's actually something I'm not.
I have a talent. My talent is advisor.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I've got a knack for guiding.
That's
others
right.
through
There it
problems.
is. I was about to say, there it is. I knew that. Yep. I knew that was going to happen. There you go. So you will roll your 1d20. And Jiro, what drive are you rolling with?
Still duty, because if I don't get this, that's it for our house.
Yeah. Okay.
And with my understand, I do have a focus on etiquette, and I assume that just lets me type just as quickly with my pinkies up as it would with my pinkies down. Like I'm just there like.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. You're just. Yeah.
Mhm.
So go ahead and roll your 3d20, and Talia will roll one.
Okay, so my duty's an 8. My understand's a 6. So what is that? That's 14.
14. At or below 14.
My advisor is the ally may re-roll a single d20 in their dice pool.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. So I rolled a 14, a 13, and a 19, which I can re-roll.
Yes.
And that re-rolled to a 19. So that's cool. That's cool.
Okay, so you are plugging away at it. You get the thrusters to return to their proper direction, but you just can't get them to obey. The ship lurches, and now you know that you can't sit there any longer. You'll have to fix a different station.
Jiro out.
Yeah, so you see that Jiro starts to make some headway and backs off. So you have the option to try to continue at this workstation or approach another one.
Oh, Jiro doesn't want to look bad in front of
somebody else would have to cut. You know that you've given it your best shot, so you look.
I'm tapping out. Look around and say someone else needs to do the rest here.
There are other stations. There is a cooling station, the altitude meter station, and life support. And the ship lurches, and you can feel it. It drops briefly like an elevator and catches you all. You can tell that things are not going good. You're running low on time.
I think as soon as Jiro shows the little frustration and not getting it, I just immediately jump in and try.
Okay.
Myself, and I would like to use 2 of my momentum.
So you're going to use. So you're going to. It will be 3 if you want 2 extra dice. It's 3 momentum. Because it's 1 for the first one, and then 2, and then it goes up.
Oh, word. Okay.
You have 4 momentum right now as a group.
How many more successes do we need for this one, the station?
You'll have to roll 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay.
I would say take the momentum, definitely, just as a safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll say.
Yeah,
I'll
better to have
3.
that safety net.
40-20. So Talia, you see Jiro, and you feel this gut instinct of this is my house. I'm supposed to help them. And you just step forward calmly, not making a scene, and begin attempting to correct the issue.
Again, using understand and truth, which is 15. I got a 7, a 5, and a 15, and an 18.
Okay. And what was the target number?
15.
15. That is 3 successes. For just a brief moment, you begin to go, and your finger slips and almost hits a wrong key. And Jiro, you see this happening because you can see it all flowing into place. You can tell Talia's right on track, and you see that finger start to slip as the ship just juts sideways, and your heart sinks into your gut. Talia, you grit through, and you manage to hit the right key just in time. And with that, you expertly fix this coding. Everything begins to fire off properly. Breathing a little easier, you signal to everybody else that this workstation is now properly functioning. On to the next one. Right. So there's the cooling system, altitude meter, and life support.
I'll try the cooling because I don't trust myself with the others.
Okay. All right. So this station handles a lot of the system temperature levels for the entire shuttle, but most importantly, it keeps constant tabs on the state of the engine itself. While it looks like most of the ship systems are being maintained, you catch that the coolant supply to the engine has been dismantled. If you hadn't caught it when you did, the next big burst of energy from this ship would probably have caused the engine to overheat and probably explode. So as you begin to look at this issue, you begin to understand it's a difficulty of 3.
Okay.
But you have the option looking at this to either step away to the next station or ask assistance, as there are 2 other stations.
I feel like I would ask for assistance. I feel like if I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to commit 100%, but I would want assistance on this for sure.
Okay. Who is coming to aid Zafir?
Able to help
Talia, you see Zafir begin to like plug away and start inspecting wires and bits and bobs, and suddenly you see the look on his face. And calmly, and to move between the station, actually.
Oh, right.
That's a move test.
Right, we have to do that roll. So
right.
Between so Talia, I do need you to make a move test.
Now,
But
do
if
you
you-
need me to make one as well, just because I went to that
Yeah,
other part
we'll just do it that way. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Everyone
sure. I was
else,
figured to ask.
the ship was calm for like 5 minutes. It's fine.
Right. Okay.
Let's move and
Whichever drive.
Okay.
What's driving you forward? I mean, duty seems to make the most sense. A lot of these roles right now
Yeah.
because this is training. This
It's our job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. My target number is 11, and I got a 12 and a 3.
12 and a 3. That is 1 success. So the ship rocks, but you're getting more used to this, and you make your way to the station. Zafir?
So my number would be a 12. However, I rolled a 14 and a 20.
Oh.
And I know 20 is probably not the one I want.
No, not at all. So
Yeah.
for one, the next the next test that you make, the difficulty is increased by 1. And in fact, as you are standing there at this cooling station, you go to make your way to the cooling station and you stumble and your shoulder meets the bottom of the panel and dents it in further. The difficulty of this test now, as Talia, you reach there, the difficulty now for Zafir to make this is a 5, but the difficulty overall because of the new damage is 4.
Oof.
So you have to now decide, do you attempt this station or move on to one of the other 2? You do know that you need to get at least the majority of these stations working in order to succeed. You don't necessarily need all 5 functioning.
Oh.
I very quickly look at Zafir and I say, move on. If the cooling component, sci-fi words, doesn't work out very well, then as long as we have life support up, then I think we should be fine.
Calibrate.
I look right back at you and say, I trust your every word. I will not question a mentat. And I immediately move on.
Okay. So there is the altitude meter and life support. So who is approaching the next station?
So which one are you going to, Zafir? Are you going to go to the life support?
I was going to go to altitude. I feel like
Okay.
life support would be too much.
Okay.
I'll go to life support then.
Okay. So with that, go ahead and both of you make your move test.
Okay.
I will say Talia is hanging back for just a moment to see where they're needed.
7 moves, 7.
I'll watch the door.
Yeah, Jiro's like, I already did this.
Check. Checking the
So
hallway.
I got, for the 12 overall, I have an 11 and a 19. So 1 success.
1 success. Okay, that's all you needed.
I rolled a 3 and a 9, so I believe that's 2 successes because it's 14.
That builds you another momentum. You now have 2 momentum.
Oh.
So Zafir, you kind of scuffle about, but you do manage to make it to the next station. Because of the level of difficulty, you are still shaken. So the next test you make still does have your 1 additional difficulty, but you make it here. So you remember the station from your studies before. This is the altitude meter. It keeps track of the ship's altitude to atmosphere ratio, which is why you can still breathe comfortably no matter where the ship is on the planet or in space. You can see that half the screen is blacked out and its command panel is malfunctioning. You knew that the data you can see is accurate. So the air could get really thin quickly if the system isn't fixed. You have to check that out. So the difficulty is typically 2.
Oh boy.
With Zafir, it is going to be the 3, but you do have 2 momentum, so you can either spend momentum or ask for assistance.
I feel like I would spend the momentum mostly because I would have someone give assistance to Shizu.
Okay. In which case, so
If
you will
everyone's
spend.
okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you spend 1 momentum, you get 1 more die.
I'm like putting certain dice like you've rolled horribly. You're going in dice jail.
And that is understand and then whichever drive.
So my understand is a 4. And as much as I want to say duty, I kind of want to go with justice, if that makes sense. Like, just like I kind of screwed up on the last one. Now I feel like I want to do better than what I did.
Yeah.
So I feel this obligation now more than ever.
Yeah.
So that would be an 8 plus 4, 12.
Okay. I believe in you.
Wow, that's really funny. 2 11s and a 1.
Oh,
That is
nice.
yes.
Well, I
so
stepped up.
that is 4 successes in an unheard of turn of events. You actually do generate another momentum in spite of the increased difficulty. So you move quickly, you analyze the problem, the diagnostics show precisely where you need to examine, and soon you have the panel properly restored and you can confirm that the air levels are where they need to be. Triumphant. You are ready to move on to the next workstation. And in spite of feeling shaken, you feel pretty good about yourself. Redeemed. Shizu, you arrive at life support and you recognize these screens. This is life support monitoring system. It works in conjunction with several systems to keep the temperature and oxygen levels comfortable. You run some diagnostics and catch a few tweaks someone made to mess with the system. So this is difficulty of 3.
Okay.
This is the final station. And you know, if you get this working, you will have succeeded on your goal.
Okay. So I have a focus under understand called danger sense. I don't know how applicable it would be to the situation. Knowing when a situation feels wrong is what they describe as danger sense, which obviously this feels very wrong for us.
Yeah, something's, well, in all of your, you know that this is a simulation. However, you can feel that these things that are wrong with your ship are very intentional. This was somebody doing this. This was not just fire damage. I will say that. So as you're looking at this, someone's trying to kill you.
Okay. So I am going to, and then can I use, or do we have any more momentum left?
You do have 2 momentum, so you can actually buy 1 more die.
Okay, I'll use momentum here.
And Talia, are you going to assist Shizu at this, or is Shizu on their lonesome?
I think knowing that it's probably the last station that we need, I would definitely assist.
Okay.
Using advisor.
Okay. So my understand is 6, and I'm going to use duty again. So that's 7. That's 13. Yeah. Okay.
Killer. Yeah.
Let's see what we roll. I rolled a 7, a 9, and a 5.
That is 3 successes.
That is 3 successes. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, my rolls have been really good.
So you, and funny enough, you almost chuckle to yourself as you expertly catch all of those tiny little tweaks made by your would-be saboteur. Whoever did this was good. But with the final input command, you once again review the main screen and find everything working to perfection. So as you repair that final system, all of the lights flash off for a heartbeat. When they return, the engine room becomes more familiar.
Okay.
With the sight, sounds, and soft, reassuring thrum of its heartbeat-like systems telling you that your mission was successful. The unsteady rumble of your shuttle around you smooths out, and the alarms turn off. You feel pride swell in your chest, and you and your team did a great job. So, as the bright lights blink on and the noise and rumbling of the shuttle ceases, the door to the room opens and your instructors approach. So, Turo and Niren walk in, though they are different in appearance, and the sharp eye will notice one striking similarity on these two. The emblem of House Harkonnen, proudly worn on their collars. At this point, you know them well. Basically, Niren appears at this point small and kind of scrappy. He never pulls any punches, but he walks in looking somewhat pleased. Turo, on the other hand, he's at this point you've become to understand he's your primary teacher. It's particularly in diplomacy and espionage. Now, so as they come in, you do see somebody standing behind them. They are accompanied by a man that you do now recognize as Corbus Zahn. He is a Harkonnen Mentat who is here as an observer. So he's been watching you go through the morning. He's a kind of a slightly round guy, soft face, really, really piercing eyes. However, he clearly has like his own agenda. As he's walking in and watching you, you can tell that the teachers are doing something entirely separate. But Niren, like, the moment walks in, doesn't even like give you a chance to like catch your breath. He's obviously really pleased with you. And immediately he's just like, I gotta admit, I'm pretty surprised, but you stuck to a plan. That was good. Good. I guess you are actually trainable. Didn't expect that.
So, thank you. We will take the compliment.
Yeah. I guess I don't have to be too hard on all of you as he kind of glares over at Jiro a little bit.
Oh no, we all did. It was great. We all did splendid together. Seeing as it was a group project.
I mean, you did good on part of it, at least.
It's very nimble.
Yeah, you did kind of avoid dealing with any kind of combat, but such the way of your house, right?
Indeed.
Well, House Nagara is duty first, and we knew we had this job to do. We moved forward and got right to the engineering bay as soon as we could.
So Turo seems to be sitting off to the side. He's pretty pleased. And you can just tell, like, as Niren is, like, being happy with you, you can tell Niren is upset that at the same time that you kind of skirted around it. Turo just seems to smirk at all of it.
I must say, since I am sensing some sort of disappointment coming from you, it was not clear that you wanted us to engage in any sort of combat. I calculated which was going to be the quickest and easiest way to complete this task, and I believe that I was correct in my calculations. I apologize that we didn't get to show any sort of muscle prowess, as it seems that you would have preferred, but I believe we did the task at hand.
Jiro just kind of raises his hand. I'm not upset. It's fine. He'll get over it.
We do have
I
the
can
rest
assure
of
you
the
my
day.
house is, I can assure you my house is very well prepared for any sort of combat.
Yeah, we'll see.
I say that while having my hand on my short blade, the kinjal. That I don't know if they would know it from looking at it or the rumors of it, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, next test will figure that out for sure. So this man Corbus completely stands in the background the whole time and kind of is just hanging out and watching. So you kind of have this moment afterwards as they're kind of sitting there discussing, and you've finished your first simulation. So you have a moment to ask any questions that you might have.
So how do we have to do any more of these simulations or tests? I know we're obviously going to be training later, but what's the itinerary for the rest of our time here on Gady Prime?
Jiro quickly turns to you. You're doing this for a very important reason. Yes, you'll have more. You have to be prepared. Arrakis is unforgiving. And we've put a lot of time and work into developing spice trade to what it is. Every education can be enriched by the study and practice of methods that are not yours. You need to be exposed to new methodology, new plans. Far too often an innocent mistake born of short-sightedness can start one down the path towards failure. So we're happy to help you fill in any educational blind spots that you might have with previous training.
I, for one, welcome the knowledge.
Of course, this is good for us to learn and experience new things that our house has not yet experienced, but we are, of course, trained in many ways of statecraft and fighting and how to handle ourselves as a house. We were chosen to go to Arrakis for that reason. So I think, we should make this quick and get done what needs to be done, and then we can be on our way.
Good. I'm glad to hear it as Niren looks over it and kind of scans across all of you. You are House Nagara. You must survive. And with that, they begin to turn and walk out of the room, leaving you briefly alone. And you have this room to yourselves for the moment.
I walk up to Talia and just say, excellent on-the-spot thinking and work. That was wonderful.
Of course.
Agreed.
I believe all of us showed our skills exceptionally. Some of us a little less than others, and I look at Jiro. I'm not going to throw out any calculations here as to who used what amount of brain power, but
Yes, I think we all did well. And I know it's not my brother's strong suit, but I think he displayed good skills despite everything. And overall, we worked very well as a team. So I think this is a good way to display our skills to the Harkonnens. Despite their abrasive nature, I think we might have impressed them.
I agree.
Jiro just kind of looks aloof. He's like, was I supposed to wear my strong suit? I brought it. The sleeveless one. I was saving it for dinner.
She rolls her eyes.
Apologies for not bringing it to today's simulation.
Zafir does that sort of like,
Well,
Jiro, we're going to have a very long combat training at some point in one of your delightful suits.
His favorite.
Well, and it is in this moment you realize that the simulation was designed for five. There were five workstations, and you know that their goal was trying to get you all to complete a workstation apiece. But you all know that your cousin Alice, who is of course part of the Bene Gesserit, is not currently present, which implies that they expected Alice to have arrived already. But alas, she's not here yet. So there's a little part of you that, knowing that you were shorter staffed than they expected and still technically succeeded in saving your shuttle, you're not too mad at yourselves. And with that, you begin to make your way back to your quarters, through the hallways, the thrumming staying consistent, as that's kind of what Gady Prime sounds like. And with that, we are going to take a quick 10-minute break to let my players stretch, work off the motion sickness from the shaking shuttle. And we will be back shortly thereafter to see what other tests the Harkonnen have planned for House Nagara. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Agents of Dune here on the Initiative Order. Thank you, Time Lord's wife, for the raid. I appreciate it. So, House Nagara, you just finished your first simulation test and training with the Harkonnens, who have so graciously welcomed you onto Gady Prime to train you to transition power of Arrakis over to you very peacefully. So a long and peaceful night's rest after the simulation gives way to yet another morning greeted by the low thrumming drone of sifter engines and purifying filters, as Gady Prime is not exactly the clearest of planets. By now, obviously, you're used to the presence of the necessity for this, but the difference between Gady Prime and your homeworld is probably you're accepting it's just always going to be really striking to you. You're just not used to this. So you prepare for another day of training. There is a reason House Harkonnen is well known for its strength and military prowess. The nobility prefers to wean its children on sport and feud. It's a good thing to have them as allies. Their strength has taught you a lot already. So, in this moment, how do your characters feel about the difference, not only in culture, but in the planet between where you're from and here?
It's definitely unsettling to Shizu, but she feels like she can handle it. So she's kind of keeping herself very guarded, I would say. But can't deny that it's a little unsettling, but trying not to let that show at all.
Jiro would secretly confess to his manicurist or whoever's back in his quarters getting nails. It's just he misses his garden. Just this lovely walks through the forest, etc. Here, everything's just smog. Always wearing his veil to keep the skin intact and stuff, and it's exhausting.
Talia probably knew and prepared mentally for this sort of thing. But I do think it's hard to just not immediately, yes, of course, miss the open air where you can see for miles and you can, the greenery and sunshine and stuff like that. It's a striking difference. She's probably experiencing a tinge of homesickness that she's probably never really felt before.
In a couple of ways, I'd probably say I'm mirroring what Talia just said, which is Zafir was probably just a little still on edge. Maybe just that military training being like, always got to stay on guard. You just never know. Like, even if they're acting friendly towards us, you can't help but wonder, is that genuine? Or is there some ulterior motive that we just don't know about yet? But in the same way, they would be looking out into that sort of, not to call the planet this, but like the desolate landscape of it and just how bleak it looks, and just feel that tinge of like, I miss home, man. I just miss the beauty of the skies, how far out you can see. But yeah.
So, with all of this heavy on your mind and very aware as time goes on now that you don't know when you're going to see your home planet again. You're going from here to Arrakis. So things are only going to get sandier. You just kind of at this point hope that there will be clean air. So you finish your morning ablutions and make your way to the designated meeting room. This is kind of becoming a habit of you now by this point. Your days begin with a lavish breakfast. Your trainers review the day's schedule. Your hosts are certainly experienced and knowledgeable in a wide variety of subjects. And this is reflected in the range of training exercises you're provided. Some days hand-to-hand fighting is called for, while other days it's weapons and shield training. Yet other days are for intense study, debate, and like negotiations. Your Harkonnen hosts have set another impressive breakfast spread today. A cacophony of tempting colors, scents, tease your senses, most of them very artfully displayed. It's gotten more sophisticated. It's almost like seems as time has gone on. Some of this seems really strange to you. You're unfamiliar with it, but there are, of course, poison snoopers dancing their thin limb, crazy little circuit serving areas. So you settle into your favorite seats to break your fast, and as you do, Turo and Niren launch into their usual reviews. Your Harkonnen tutors have taken the time to review everything every single day, and have begun to take a more neutral tone and tactical approach to these reviews. So their assessment is both complete and honest, and in some cases, it's honestly a little too honest. Jiro, you seem to catch from Niren, you tend to catch the most harshness, where really, Shizu, you're told over and over by Turo that you have got to take a step back and analyze the situation. You have to remain calm. Zafir, they just kind of, it's almost like they expect you to have already had a lot of this training. So occasionally you catch things, but you seem to have earned at least a little bit of respect. Talia, Niren almost explicitly every time is just talks to you like you're a computer. Turo seems to enjoy your company a bit. So moving into this next session, so this is a brief tutorial section. Basically, you're going to be making more skill tests. And again, as we did before, you're going to be using drives, different drives for these tests. And it's obviously going to be depending on your drive statement. So what is most important to your characters? So as we move into this next part, that's going to be very meaningful because this next simulation that they're preparing you for is going to be more intense. In the next session, to help you pick which drive you use your highest drives. They all have like a drive statement. You should look at that statement to see how it applies to the situation, as that is the truest reflection of yourself. So, enough frivolities. Niren grunts, restless, looks down at all of you, looks back. The day is new and the task is set. We're going to be doing some ground training today. One of my favorites. Kind of sneers down towards Jiro a little bit.
I look back to my attendant and says, "Fetch my strong suit."
Love it. Jiro continues where he left off. We've prepared one of our complexes for a training ground for you, and motion towards Niren as they activate a film book to show a map of facilities on the table. So all of this holographic projection pops up and you can see it's pretty plain, pretty just a series of buildings, nothing outstandingly fancy. In this training scenario, you have discovered that your enemies have an important piece of information. This should be your house's specialty. And so they've kept a mimic film and safeguarded it somewhere in this complex. Your mission today is to infiltrate and retrieve this important data before it can be used against you. And for those of you who do not know what that is, basically it's data storage film. Yeah. So at this point, you know that your target needs to be this building, and Niren motions to the center building of the map. But you've discovered multiple entrances to that building, so you can see for yourself that they're patrolled and active, but you don't know what intervals. This is where you guys are supposed to be skilled with that, right? So you'll need to choose which one of these doors you want to enter in and where you want to escape. Choose wisely. He just kind of sneers at you. Turo looks kind of down towards Natalia, over at Shizu, and just smiles a little bit. Seems confident in your ability, whereas Niren is like waiting for you to make a mistake. So At this point, you may make an understanding or battle test, your choice, to see how well you analyze the positions where the guards are.
That's a big understanding. Natalia.
What drive will you be using?
I will be using. I guess truth. Again, this statement of if I do not know it, it is irrelevant. I feel like if Natalia couldn't figure something out, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that is 15. 10 and 11.
10 and 11. That is 2 successes. All right. Yeah. So I'll actually, this is where I missed. This is a difficulty 3.
Oh,
you have 1 momentum left. Do you want to risk it and roll it?
I do.
Do it.
I do. A 3.
Nice.
Yay. Well spent. Well spent. So that is 3 successes. So to the untrained eye, the buildings seem like they could be just another series of meaningless exteriors, barely more than an external blueprint. You, though, are trained. Your eyes fall to certain points and recognize patterns on the map. Immediately, formulas running across your face. Entryways are arteries and veins, all with their own pulse and flow. And you can begin to see the easiest ways to get to the heart of your mission. When it comes to infiltrating the first part of the base, all difficulty numbers will be 1 lower. This bonus stacks with any others that you acquire. Talia, you begin pointing all of this out to your party. Flowing through it all, you see Talia like in her own element, just flowing through this. It's somebody that's really excited about something that they love and passionate about, but you have like no understanding, but they sound really cool talking about it because they're just so into it. And I mean, some of it's going over your head, but you're like, yeah, and you're just focused in on it. So with that, your allies' transport has dropped you off. The simulation begins at the entrance that you requested. Watching the approach, you feel your jaw set and your focus setting in. This may be just another practice run, but you're determined at this point to make the best of it that you can. So, and we have a brief tutorial in this moment. So in the next scene, we will be learning about traits, determination, assets, and complications, which we've already encountered a complication because of beautiful rolls. However, determination is a new type of bonus point, but one with much more power than momentum. So you each receive 1 point, and you'll be able to keep it if you do not use it in this scene. When you spend a determination point on a test, instead of rolling one of your dice, you may put it on the table showing a 1. Granting you an automatic critical and that therefore 2 successes, and roll any other dice as you would like to beyond that. If you spend your determination that way, after you've rolled it, you may instead re-roll any of your dice again. So, or if you want to spend it to do that instead, after you've rolled and just re-roll a die, you can. However, it does not count towards momentum. If you roll a critical that way, it doesn't count. So traits are described by the most important details about a place, time, person, or object. Keywords for other rules, that kind of thing. So each trait is a single word or short phrase that describes a single detail about a subject. A trait is always both true and important. If a trait stops being true or stops being important, it fades into the background and is removed from play. If a trait applies to an action you're attempting, it can either reduce to increase the difficulty by 1 level. So that's an option you have there. It may also make an action impossible. So if you're like, I'm going to run up and punch this guy in the face, but he's 10 feet tall, you're not going to run up and punch the guy in the face. The fact of the matter is,
doesn't happen. So in that situation, traits can be affected by using momentum and determination. So you can manipulate those things to make something no longer true. Assets are a form of trait, but are more tangible. So some of you will have noticed you have items on your person that are considered assets, whether that's knowledge or a weapon, armor, gear. Those are assets. Complications are obviously bad traits. So those are situations where, for example, Zafir stumbled trying to approach the board and fell shoulder first into it, increased the difficulty. So the complication then became that it was now even harder for you guys to try to repair the panel that was broken. Okay, so let's see. Okay, and because you guys did you guys also did complete the shuttle, like repairs, you also get all tests to move around the base will also be one difficulty lower because you did complete that in your previous simulation. Okay, so there are 3 major challenges to be beaten in this situation. You have to penetrate the security and research the film. Then basically you will get through all of this. In an extended test, you will be defeating the difficulty. Okay, so however, the tests that you'll be dealing with this time are not as simple. So before it was 1 difficulty test, you were done. At this point, there are ones that are considered extended tests. In an extended test, you'll be beating the difficulty multiple times to succeed in a situation. Each successful test will add 2 points towards a requirement, whatever that requirement is, unless a complication happens, and then we'll get there. But you guys aren't going to do that. So we're going to be good. Okay. So you're dropped off. Double. And you begin to approach the facility. Now that you're at the main fence, the weight of your mission starts to press in on you. You need to find out where in this building the Minimic film might be hidden. And you have to find a way not only to get there without getting caught, but get out. So, penetrating the outer zone is relatively simple. It's a difficulty of 2, extended task. Difficulty 1, though, because you passed previously. And so you have to get 6 points in order to completely penetrate this perimeter. So in this situation, you are allowed to make battle, move, or understand tests and choose which drive you would like. Again, the goal is 6. So that is, you'll need 6 points. So at that situation, you really just need like 3 successes because y'all are reducing everything to 1. So how do you begin as you all exit transport and make your way to this perimeter? How are you approaching, and what actions do you take?
Well, I am very good at moving to the shadows, being unseen and unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind taking a bit of a scout ahead, and seeing if I can find a route for all of us to sneak in that would be the easiest for us to go undetected or unnoticed.
Okay. So you kind of scout ahead. You watch as Shizu begins to make her way along kind of stone walls, peering around, looking for guards. So Shizu, what will you be rolling?
I am going to roll move, and I have a talent called Subtle Step. So it says you're well-versed in methods of avoiding notice, and you reveal little that you do not intend to. When you attempt a move test to sneak or otherwise pass unseen, the first extra D20 you purchase for the test is free.
Mm-hmm.
So that means...
Yeah, if you had momentum. Yes.
Okay, I see. So...
Which y'all have 0 momentum now.
Okay.
Right now.
That's fine. I will use my move still. And then a focus that I have is stealth. So that also helps. And what drive? I kind of want to use power. So my statement for this is the ability to destroy a thing is the key to controlling it. And I feel in this, I that word control is really sticking out to me. Like I kind of want us to take the control and the momentum here in this situation. So I'm going to use my power drive for this.
Yeah.
So that is a 7 + 8.
It's not bad.
Let's roll our 20. Okay, so that is a 14 and a 2.
So that does build 1 momentum, and that is a success. So you scout ahead quietly, and you begin to see, you do see a part in the wall that is big enough for everybody to fit through. And watching as you sneak forward, you do see the pattern of the guards' movements, and you call everybody forward as you now have a firm understanding of how to begin getting through this initial perimeter.
So I kind of motion to them to like follow and follow my footsteps through this.
I think Jiro would be right behind after seeing this. I'd like to use my understand skill as kind of just like carefully watching as my sister moves forward and wanting to mimic where she's gone and everything. I think Jiro's used to being his sister's second in combat, so he's not really, going to shy away and wants to prove himself, a contributing member of the house, therefore using duty as well. This is still just honor bound to go and follow where his sister goes. So 6, 8, 14. And what happens? Oh, sheer a 1 and a 16.
Okay, so that is 2 successes because a 1 is a critical. So you do build 1 momentum. So going forward and peering ahead, you not only are you watching the pattern in which the guards move, you pick up on the fact that there are actually 2 different guards in cycle. And while they are crossing at the same time, you realize that they have 2 different routes. And you realize that at one point they overlap, leaving a direct trail open to get through. So you can then pinpoint that path. Who's next? Talia or Zafir? There will be lots of opportunity for everybody down the road. So I will.
I was going to actually recommend that Talia goes first. It's more, I want to take up the rear and make sure.
I was going to suggest Zafir probably with their skill. So I will quickly follow.
So Zafir, I need you then, since you're bringing up the rear. So this is I will say, since you're bringing up the rear, what are you rolling? As you're clearly trying to be somewhat security in this, I will say that that's what you're doing in this moment to assist the party moving forward to get through this perimeter. As you guys really technically need like 1 more success. Like 1 more test. So
I want to use move as my focus says grace, so I'm going to interpret that in a hopefully unique way, which is I'm very fluent in combat. I'm very fluent in movement, so I would know how to be as quiet as possible with my steps and ensure anyone who's with me does the same thing.
Okay.
And then I would say probably duty again, like I pledge my loyalty to this house. I'm going to make sure no matter what, everything hopefully goes off without a hitch.
Yeah. So
both of those combined would be a 12.
Yes. I believe in you. You got this.
A 5 and a 14.
5 and a 14. That is 1 success, which was all you needed. So there is a brief moment where you hesitate because you're taking this deep breath. but Zafir pushes you all forward. And much like training previously, Zafir has shown you all, you have watched Zafir train. You watch from behind Zafir as everyone is moving forward, and you find a bit of pride going forward, watching some of your movements in their steps as you all successfully continue to make your way through. So you have scouted it. You wind your way carefully through some narrow corridors and get through this first perimeter. And at one point, you creep past a locked door, hearing a low thrumming drone of sound. You have to smile to yourself just a few moments ago because you'd have guessed that to be the room in which your target awaited. Now that you know that it's a mechanized practice room filled with battle drones and stationary fighting machine because of all of the intel and quiet and patience that you took to get here. Though you might want to try your hand against such a challenge, you keep moving towards your mission goal. Niran will probably be happy to set you against that challenge on any other day, more than likely. So another few turns, and then you hide away, waiting for the next patrol to make its rounds. The door is a few paces away, locked and alarmed. You steel yourself, heart racing excitedly. You know that you will need to disarm this alarm, unlock the door, and sneak into the room before the next patrol arrives. Time is of the essence, as is precision. The next set of footfalls approaches and leaves. It's time to act. So, now that you are deep inside the facility, the real work begins. But there are two obstacles, and time is a factor. You have to disarm the alarm system, and there's obviously a series of locked doors that will need to be opened to get further access. So, the difficulty for each of these tasks is 2. And obviously, in order to complete this, you have a requirement of 6 points, as previously, to complete this extended task. So each of you can make 2 tests towards the requirement your team is working towards. But if you don't need to make a second test, you can join the other team. So you are allowed to team off here because you do have to unlock doors and disarm the alarm system. You must also pick drives yet again, possibly guided by the previous notes or how things are currently going for you. So let's see here. So who is going to unlock doors and who is going to try to disarm?
I will be jumping on that alarm.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm very much a doors person.
Yeah, I feel like I might be a doors person too.
Okay.
Gotta, work on that.
Let's see. So let me make sure that this is the right order. All right. So for those of you that are trying to unlock the doors and access the rest of the facility, you can either use understand or move, but they can only attempt the task if they have their electronic kits. Those trying to disable the inner alarms can use understand or discipline. The alarms are simpler and don't need the electronic kits, so they make the difficulty 1 step easier if used.
Huh.
So they're making it difficult for you.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. So who has, I'm going to assume that probably at least Jiro and Natalia have the electronic kits.
Oh.
I will assume, unless it says otherwise in your.
Would that be under assets or?
And that may be something that they didn't like, that they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that in the situation, for sure, I know that Talia would have one, and Jiro, that just seems like something Jiro would have. So let's see. And you know what? Let's do this. Zafir and Shizu, like I'll allow you to roll 2d20. just straight 2d20. And this is just pure luck to see if your person would have thought ahead.
Okay. I rolled a 20 and a 2.
I rolled a 4 and a 13.
4 and a 13. So with the 2 and 20, Shizu, you absolutely remembered one and you left it back in the caravan.
No.
Zafir, you don't have one with you.
Yeah, it's not my type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Then
was
maybe, Jiro, you can go with Zafir to the doors. And I'll go
but you can assist each other. So
Got it. Yours it is.
okay. So yeah, so those who are trying to unlock the doors and access the rest of the facility, you can use understand or move. So yeah, you have your kit.
Mhm.
So you're attempting to open the door.
I'm gonna use understand. I think.
Okay.
I don't believe etiquette as a focus is really gonna play in here, pinkies or otherwise. So I'm just gonna.
This is a difficulty of 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I
so
would like to assist.
okay, so Zafir, you went with Jiro then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is funny because I look at this kit, like I personally probably don't know the best way to help, but I'm just there to help.
You're just there.
Yeah,
Hand
just
me
there to help.
scalpel. Yeah.
It's a knife.
So Jiro. So
And I think justice is the drive I'm using. So I think in Jiro's really in the simulation, right? This is data has been stolen, trying to get back what's ours. This is for justice, you know. So that is a 7 and a 6, a 13.
mm-hmm.
All right. That's a 9 and a 13.
Okay.
And I rolled a 2.
So there you go. Nice. Congratulations, 3 successes. So you do, and you manage to start, and you can hear as the door begins to unlock. So back over to Shizu and Natalia, you are working with the alarm system. So you have to use either understand or discipline. This is, it's also a difficulty 2. However, because you have your electronics kit with you, Talia, if you are the one that attempts this and you use it, it goes down to a difficulty of 1.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I will be using understand with my focus on advanced technology. And I guess duty.
Okay.
I serve at the pleasure of the house. So that'll be 13.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 13 and a 16.
That is 1 success. Or is Shizu assisting, or you just watch it?
I would like to assist, actually. So I just roll a D.
Yep.
Okay, I rolled a 3.
Okay, yeah. So that would give y'all 2 successes. So you're doing all right. So, and again, so this first, Talia, you're at this board and you begin to work with circuitry, and you're trying to do this ever so carefully while the guards are away. This time is of the essence, and you're trying to do this. You remove the first wire. Success. Nice. Jiro and Zafir back to the door.
Maybe just shove it open the rest of the way.
Paper probably looks at you too and is like, "Oh, I see you wore the nice stealth suit today." As like a joke.
So I should also clarify that each person can make 2 tests towards the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
So Jiro can only go twice. That will get you a maximum of 4 points. So then it will be Zafir's turn after.
Yeah, I'll go again. Probably samesies as before,
Okay.
right? Understand, and still justice. So 13. One's a 19. One's a 17.
Zafir, are you rolling?
Yes, I'm going to assist for sure.
I know that was that's been the trend. I just want to make sure.
Sorry. No, 100%. I got a 9.
9. Okay. That is 2 successes. Jiro, your finger slips while you're working on this briefly, and one of the picks that you're using to wedge in almost falls and hits the ground, but luckily Zafir is quick to immediately replace it, as you can begin to see the wires that would have otherwise triggered and set off an alarm. Just in the nick of time, you do not lose your place, and you succeed 4 points towards your 6-point goal. Shizu and Talia. So, continuing your alarm work, who is moving next? You've managed to remove one of the circuit boards, continuing to work.
I guess if you want to go again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can assist.
Great. Understand and duty again, which is 13.
13.
I got a 4 and a 17.
4 and a 17. And what was the goal?
13.
13.
13.
Right?
Yeah. And Shizu, are you rolling with her?
Yes, I rolled a 13.
Okay, so that is 2 successes. So which, again, you only needed the 1 because y'all smart. Okay. So that builds up. And you manage to pull yet another circuitry board out. No alarm. Jiro and Zafir. Jiro, at this point, you have like 2 hands with the tools holding something, and now Zafir has to come in. You can assist, but Zafir, you have to come in to finish this last bit.
Mm-hmm. And which skills can I use again on that? You said
understand or move.
I'm gonna use move again just because Grace, like as the statement, just because it makes sense to just, probably know the exact way to be, quick and quiet about it. And then, again, just probably duty. Like, actually, no, I want to use, as weird as this probably sounds, if possible, truth. It technically says a keen blade cuts through lies, but also I feel like I would know the swiftest way to get through stuff, especially as if our house is espionage. I feel like I've trained enough people and understand it well enough that I would know the truth as to what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
All right. That will be...
Jiro, are you assisting in the situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you're up in the business too. I will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So with move and trust, or move and truth, that'd be 13. Oh. Well, that wasn't good. 14 and a 19. Probably under pressure. Feel the heat.
And a 16.
Okay. All right.
I didn't help.
Okay, so back over to Talia and Shizu.
Mm-hmm. I guess
there is a sudden, as you are just about. Actually, let's do this. Okay. Go ahead, Shizu. Okay. Let's make your rolls.
All right, I'll take the lead on it now, and I'll use move, and I'm going to go with power again. Again, the ability to destroy a thing is the key to controlling it. So that's 15 is my total with that. I rolled a 13 and a 14. Huh. Wow.
Okay. There you go. Alrighty. So with the Blair, actually, let me see here, because that's a success. So how do I want to do this? So, just as you fail at getting this door to unlock what should have tripped an alarm, no sound comes.
Hey, yo.
So you wait for it, hesitating, but one of the pieces of the metal is in the door currently, but no alarm signs from here. So you've managed to deactivate the alarm, but the door is still locked. When suddenly you get this sinking feeling, Zafir and Jiro. Something's not going to work. And you suddenly hear metal doors closing all around you, and there are footsteps behind you. And you hear the pull of a lever as alarms are now sounded because you've been found out. With that, you suddenly hear footsteps running in your direction. Talia and Shizu, you know the direction that Jiro and Zafir went. Zafir and Jiro, you know where they are. What are you doing?
I would say let's head towards them because they're closer to the doors to move forward. So I'll start running back toward those.
Okay.
Agreed.
So you finally meet and you find yourselves racing down the halls as everyone is quickly pacing after you. So you race down the halls and your heartbeats suddenly start building up in your ears. It hits you. This is a failure. There's no getting to the heart anymore. You've been found. You're ducking past patrols and skirting threats and doing, you're doing the Breakfast Club, catching yourselves and sliding and going back the other way. You are a few scant turns from your chosen exit points, which you had planned ahead for, when the lights around you go dark for one moment and then flash back to life. Brighter than before. A flashing red light alternates with day tones of glow globes. Well, if the enemy hadn't already known about you, they certainly do now. There will be no sneaking out of this one. You can hear shouts down several of the halls as you race past. I need all of you to make a battle test. Nobody can assist. Whichever player, so go ahead and let's make battle test, each of you. You may choose your drive in this moment as you panic and you are fleeing. The mission is a failure. Everybody was watching. And I need each of you to tell me what you get.
I have one thing for battle, a talent. It's called Cool Under Pressure. When the situation gets tough, you take a deep breath and get the job done. So I can spend a determination point to automatically succeed.
Yes, you can.
But I won't generate any momentum from this. So I will go ahead and do that.
Okay. So that is, go ahead and, okay, so you're going to go ahead and you can take one of your dice and do the natural one. And then I think you still roll your other. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how many you get.
So my battle is 6. And then we would still do, the drive. I think I'm going to go again with, maybe I'll go with duty for this one. So that is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13. So let's see. Oh, I rolled an 18.
An 18. Yeah. Okay. So you still have 2 successes. Next. Who wants to make their battle test?
Mine is not going to be good, but it's okay. My battle is 4. And I feel in this moment, we're going to go duty.
You do that. You do have momentum. So if you're really worried, you guys do have some momentum you can spend. You have 5 momentum. So don't forget.
Sure. All right. So it's going to be 10 total. I got a 5 and a 17.
One success.
I will take it. I will take the one.
Okay. Zafir, Jiro, who's going next?
I would push Jiro forward because I want to, if anything catches up to us, I'm the last line of defense on that. I would rather the three of them get away and I'm the one who has to fight them off.
Okay. Jiro, just steady myself, swords out. Custom hilt, obviously. Jeweled, maybe. Gaudy, absolutely not. Battle's a 5. Super good at that. This is duty, 100%. This is, chips are down, shoulder to shoulder with my sister. My statement is repay what you owe. And since we just failed this test, I feel like I owe someone an ass whooping. So 8 and a 5 is a 13.
I owe someone an ass whooping. You have momentum. Oh, well, an 8 and a 4. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 2. That's not too bad. Whew. Oh, good job. Safer? Zafir?
So my battle's a 7. It's funny, my focuses are dueling and short blades. So if anything combat-wise happens, I guess I'm good in that regard. But at this moment, it's probably more everyone just keep running. For drive, I kind of want to use justice.
And again, y'all have momentum to spend. Y'all could have totally just...
no, I'm thinking that too. I'm just thinking for justice, the reason is because my statement is I must speak for those whose lives I command. And I feel like at this moment, I'm telling everyone to just keep moving. Like, don't stop. Get the hell out of here. So that would be... So how many successes? You said 1 or 2?
Just however... It's just... Okay. Just, but that's what I'm saying. You can use all the momentum you want to, though, if you want. There are
how many momentum do we have left?
5. You can
I definitely want to use... Oh, yeah. Can I please use a momentum?
Just the 1? Okay. Gotcha.
Just the 1.
So you got... Okay.
You say it's like 5. It's like, oh, totally. I definitely want to use a momentum. My total will be for justice in battle 15. 5, 8, and a 14.
So 3. Okay.
Yep, so 3.
Yeah. So you guys are continuing to run. You can hear the sounds of some kind of metal pinging into the walls around you. Natalia just ducking as something grazes past your face. And then suddenly with a strange hiss that seems to come out of nowhere, suddenly Talia stumbles forward as though tripped up by a wire. As they tumble to the ground, the rest of you notice a small dart sticking out of their back. As you recover from that surprise, you realize it's too late. A guard patrol is on you. You all stop to look back at Talia and find yourself surrounded. Troops begin to completely surround Talia. And Talia's like shriveling and sweating, and you can tell that she's having a hard time breathing. You draw your weapons, all of you ready to fight and defend Talia. Halt! This sharp command is barked by a very familiar voice of Niran at the end of the hall. You stop and you're sick to your stomach because how did this go wrong? You're never going to hear the end of this. You failed miserably. At the stand down order, all of the conscripted enemies obediently raise their hands and back away. All but one. And that one lunges forward again right towards Jiro. Your team had just enough time to notice the dart gun at his side. Its peace bolt removed and another small dart cartridge in his hand. Before you can act to defend yourselves, 3 more sound and echo impossibly fast through the room. The attacker's lunge nearly knocks Jiro off his feet. But instead, his momentum continues until he lands heavily, landing on the ground. 3 darts are embedded perfectly in the back of his neck and head.
Niren's eyes burn angrily as he storms forward to meet the downed attacker, his own dart gun still in hand. As he secures the attacker and he's commanding all of the other the conscripted enemies to restrain and take this individual, Jiro steps forward and immediately looks extremely concerned. They sweep past the others straight to Natalia, who is now lying on the ground gasping. And Jiro jams an automatic injector into Talia's arm, and the antivenom begins to help. But Talia, you're in a bad situation and you need medical attention immediately. Things seem to kind of blur at the moment. Talia, you're being like hoisted off. The rest of you are following. And like at this point, Niren is yelling. Jiro is shouting for some kind of a medical assistance for Talia, and Niren is now hauling this would-be attacker away. Who was he? The others involved in the incident, yourself included, are taken aside one by one and are interviewed to get an idea of what happened here. The relief at not being one on the receiving end of Niren's wrath is ultimately no consolation today, because you're trying to figure out what just happened and why did it go so horribly wrong. Talia, you're being picked up and you can see the party in this moment as you're beginning to be taken away. What do you do?
Gosh, I don't really know.
I mean, you're kind of like, it's just if you have any, like even trying to get words out, because they don't know what's going on.
Right. I guess, yeah, I would just try to communicate through gas breaths that, just don't worry about me, keep going, it's okay. Like
Talia is gasping for air and being like, don't worry about, as you can see, like, is still concerned and is still falling back on you all.
There's a 50% chance I'll be okay. It's fine.
Shizu is just kind of like shocked by this and also kind of like angry. She looks to Nero and just like, what's happened here? What's going on?
He ignores you and follows those hauling off this person as two guards come up, and you are all carted away for questioning because they don't know what just happened. But with that, that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
Oh gosh.
So and I forgot to let you guys know I am the world's worst about cliffhangers between sessions. So
someone's trying to
pretty good one.
So that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you guys so much for the first session. So let's go ahead and go around the horn, and let's let everybody give out their spiel. And I want to give a big thank you to everybody for this. So let's start with Tracie again. Spiel and all the things.
Thanks everybody for the fun Dune game. I am a huge fan of Dune, especially the Dune 2D20 system is just so awesome. And I love the world of Dune. So this is very fun. So I'm excited. So hi again, everybody. I'm Tracie, also known as Miss Tech. You can find me everywhere on the internet as Miss Tech, but on Twitch specifically, I'm Magi RPG because I do a lot of tabletop stuff on our channel, which used to be Miss Tech, but it's now Magi RPG because that's all we do is play tabletop games. So feel free to hang out and give a follow. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Nate, giving me those looks.
Can still feel my heart in my chest going like, what?
I know.
What? Zafir's just going to be thinking the entire time, I should have done better than that. Damn. Hi, I'm Nate Bushman. I'm a portrait photographer based out of Los Angeles. Sometimes an occasional GM. I've GM'd on this wonderful channel before. You can, if you want, find my photo work at natebushman.com. You can find me on Twitter at Nate_B, Instagram on IndieNate, because I just can't seem to have the same name across all socials. And if you want, join the Discord. I run community games here and there. I'm running a game of Avatar Legends on Saturday. First time running that system. It's a lot of fun. Between that, Cyberpunk, Vampire, too many books, not enough time.
I feel that. Jess, I promise I'm not going to kill Talia.
Fine. You know, I had predicted that Talia was going to die first, but I wasn't taking that as you should do it. My name is Jess. You can find me around the internet on Instagram at j.rancor or on pretty much everything else as Goblin Queen with 3 E's. I am very excited tabletop player. That's what I do. I'm really stoked on this 2D20 system. I'd never tried it before. And I want to thank Taryn for being an awesome game master and Danny for putting all this together and all of my other co-players for being amazing.
I don't know how to accept compliments. Thank you. Miguel.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. I've been Miguel. You can catch me around the internet at Miguel_Clasico. That's Twitter, Instagram, other things. TikTok. I don't really post, but if we're friends, I will send you cool videos that I like. You can also catch me over at that's TEA, TRPG's Twitch channel this Thursday, where I'll be GMing a one-shot of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. It's called Rainbows. It's an all bimbos, himbos, and thembos one-shot, so that'll be fun. And I also have a ongoing Masks, what's it called? Masks, the Next Generation AP over there called Age of Wonder. We're trying to finish up our first season when we figure out a time to reschedule, and then our second will kick off in October. So
nice. And I am Taryn Hackett, also known as Val Rook across the socials. I am a generally creative human, TTRPG player, and GM, Eldritch Entity. And the longer you watch me on streams, the more you'll start to get why. And I'm a dice maker under the moniker of Umbral Oculus Dice. That is UO_dice on the Instagram. I'm officially back in my workshop, hand pouring and polishing dice again. So I'm excited to be making more math rocks that will fail me on a regular basis. But you can catch me here on the Initiative Order. We will be back into Sundays. It's going to be an alternating every other Sunday. So be sure to catch us again. You can catch me over at the Red Hair Inn on alternating Tuesdays. In fact, this Tuesday, playing a little feminine role. And I love her. And you should come watch us playing Dungeons and Dragons. July 22nd, I will be GMing a mini series over at the Red Hair Inn as well. That is witchy in nature. And I'm excited for that too. So thank you guys so much. Thanks. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Session Zero Clothing. Use code ORDER for 15% off at their shop. Norse Foundry Artisan Dice Makers. Mad props there. Code TIO15 for 15% at checkout. Mithril Armory, the puzzles that whoop my ass. Maybe you'll do better, but they're really cool and shiny. Code Initiative for 10% off in their shop. I have a grudge. They made me mad, and Cody Hill rolled his better than mine. And then I am also a sponsor. If you use code initiative at checkout in my shop, you can get 10% off of full sets. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody who joined in. It is very, very much appreciated, and we hope to see you next time. Happy Father's Day. Happy Pride Month, motherfuckers. So thank you, and we will see you.
And Juneteenth.
Yes, Juneteenth. Thank you. And yeah, we will see you around here at the Initiative Order. We'll see you in a couple weeks where we find out who's trying to kill these homies, because someone's trying to. It's not the Harkonnen.